up? What's up? Sorry for the delay. You know, we getting out of here in the world. We got to make things happen. Oh, I forgot I had this. But yes, we had to make a couple things happen. Early. Now, there have been some large confusions about what went on, but it shouldn't be shocking to anybody. Everybody's on the Patreon right now. They probably just waking up watching it. And well, that's cool. My mail's coming early. Hopefully they start delivering my damn mail. I'm gonna go this way again. I just had this conversation with y'all a week ago, and I told people that this would happen already. And there's a reason why this is happening already. Let me enlighten you as to why this is happening already. It is happening already due to the fact that and I want to be clear, you have to know your personalities. You need to know your personalities of the people you're surrounded by. If you know Joe, you know how Joe is. And when they did that sit down, let everybody get things off their chests and talk podcasts like they were back going to work, what did I tell you? What did I tell you when that happened? If you remember my live stream that I did when I went to go bail my buddy out, I told you as clear as day, one thing. That was essential. I said, there is no way, shape, or form no way that they resolved anything. Because if you listen to the whole interview that they did, that wasn't talk of people that had things resolved. That was the conversation of people that still had things on the table that hadn't been resolved. And if you're on the Casino for Life Patreon, everybody's still like shocked over the Boys to Men manager situation. And they were like, man, they never talk about this. They should have, but it happened in Chicago, so I knew all about it early on. So that was a nugget for you, and then you get to listen to the Joe Budden podcast today that he deleted, but we have it on the Patreon. So basically what Joe was saying today really echoed everything that I've been saying. This is what happens when I've almost was in this situation. But unlike Joe Budden to foresee the future and know that I was going to have this problem had I went down this road. See, Joe Budden already has namesake. And when you have namesake, that means a lot. So when Joe started doing love and hip hop and all these things, there was no Rory around. Like he said, he met Rory in 2014. They start working together on the podcast in 2015. So they don't know each other that well. So they didn't really vet each other enough for him to make that decision. Hit the like button, people. There's no reason why the like button should be this low. This is real conversation. This is real talk here. Y'all need to hit the like button because you need to hear this. This is about business and friendship. I preach this all the time on One Crack News and everywhere else. And this is why I don't do it. And I don't go down these roads. Because one, you got to start looking at what is the benefit for you. Now, me, I've built Casino for Life. Casino for Life was built by one person, me. All of you know that because you guys are here every day. Me. Now, if I bring somebody aboard and decide, hey, let's do a little podcast thing and this and that, and somewhere down the road, they're going to say, okay, I want part ownership in Casino for Life. And I'm going to go, what the hell are you talking about? No, I'm not going to give you part ownership in what I have built. You show up and do your part, and you get a check. That's it. But if we're trying to build something based on my own platform, I already know what is the whole concept is. It's like I've already done the work. You're just showing up. Now, if we're just trying to get something built that we don't even know what it is yet, and we're trying to figure it out, nobody's really making money off of it yet. But yet, your mind is thinking dollars rather than growing something. And when you have everybody's mindset ain't on the same page. You see, Rory mindset was thinking about dollars. Joe was thinking about growing a business. And I can tell that. But Joe has no idea on how to grow the business. So he's learning John Doe of what's going on. So your leader has no direction. He's basically the talent. He's the engine in which this whole thing runs. But he doesn't know how to run a business. Now he's trying to structure the business based on the mistakes he made early on. Now, his problem is Rory and Mal have been there for a large part of it. Now they feel like, okay, our opinion should matter in this situation. And Joe is feeling like, no, it's Joe Budden's opinion. And what I say go because it's my show. It's the Joe Budden podcast. But Rory and Mal feel like, hey, we helped build this too, which they did. Because when Joe was doing the podcast, it wasn't like everybody was breaking down the door to see Joe Budden podcast, even though he had namesake. It's once he had Rory and Mal, and those two got to bounce off each other. Did it work? Like everyday struggle. Would that have worked without anyone? And I don't like academics. Everybody knows that I don't like academics. But he worked with Joe. It worked because that's the type of energy you need. You need somebody who is naturally passive, as academics is, and you need somebody who's over the top like Joe, coming in there sunning him every week, and everybody's loving that. Like, yeah, get him, Joe. Everybody wanted to see that. Not every host or co-host could deal with that. Academics, who the hell is he? He just got to take it. So that worked. The concept worked perfect. That was a perfect balance. So would Joe have had that success with any other host? Like if they'd have brought Lord Jamal in there and Joe Budden couldn't talk to Lord Jamal like that. So as much as I don't like academics, that dynamic worked. It worked with him because of what they were able to do. They were able to hook you guys based on that fact alone. Joe could go off and sun him anytime he wanted. Everything was perfect. Now, Joe's issue was with the network. Joe wanted to know, hey, why we're not getting this money? Why is they getting the money? Sponsorship money, back end money. Because Joe didn't have an idea on how these business practices works. Joe had sold his IP address. Didn't even know he was giving it away when he did the Spotify deal. It was a bad deal. He realized that today. Well, he admitted it today that it was a bad deal that they signed because it was based on benchmarks that they were never going to hit. But he learned his lesson, and he ended up leaving. They offered to pay him more money down the road. But he realized in the re-up, it was going to be the same, more the same. Benchmarks, are now he's aware of what these things are and realize I can basically make this money without you. Because he knows the worth they've built. Now, here's the thing with Rory and Mal. Rory and Mal right now, well, mainly Rory, is saying that he wants to see the books. He wants the audit, basically. He wants to see the numbers, or he wants to have the company audited, the Joe Budden podcast, to see if he's getting his rightful pay. So again, all of this, money wasn't the issue. It's all about respect, and money wasn't the issue. Money's not the issue. These guys are getting paid. Money's not the issue. It's money at the end of the day. See, people want more. And they want to make sure that they're financially taken care of. Joe Budden brought up something very key. They wanted a piece of his YouTube. See, I always wondered, did Joe split that YouTube money with them? And he did not. He did not split the YouTube money with them. Even though they're on the show, they're putting it on the Joe Budden YouTube. It's Rory and Mal on there. Their pay includes their likeness and everything being used on YouTube. But what Joe gave them was the freedom to use the same footage from the show on their own YouTube pages, which they should have been did. They could have had the Rory and Mal page where they give their thoughts and everything else. What Joe have, they don't have. They're lazy. And when you're lazy, this is what happens when you're lazy. You don't know how many times people that I've worked with wanted to put things up on Casino for Life. And I say no, because I know what this is going to detail. I know what it's going to detail. It's going to detail me doing the majority of the work. I've built the audience. I've built everything. And somebody could just jump on my page and just ride the wave. Why would I do that when I've built all of this? So you could just walk in the door and don't have to do anything, but just show up and make a video. No, hell no. That's not how it works. I'm sorry. You ain't sacrificing 18 hours a day. Sorry. Now, how many relationships was broken up because of this? I had a girl said, look, if you make one more YouTube video today, we done. I'm like, are you serious? Going live in 10, 5, 4. And she said she's leaving. You don't pay any bills here. Hit the like button. Nah, they don't love me, they love my lifestyle. You gotta understand, I have no tattoos. I look decent. I got my own money. I don't need their money. Driving Mercedes, got his own house. I am a walking gold ticket. I'm a walking gold ticket. They know it. Believe me. I'm not even styling and profiling. Everything talks for me. My car talks for me. They're watching. Believe me. These chicks know. They're like, this dude, he got it. Shorty got it going on. Look at his disposition. So, no, women like things that they don't have to do nothing. They can just walk right in and just start making changes to the things they don't like. That's the weird part about it. My thing is, I have to weed those women out. Because they come in thinking they finna get more than what they gonna get. And then they realize, like, damn, I just got used. I done gave everything up. And now he can get rid of me whenever he wants. And I haven't made no progress. No, you haven't, but you were fun. Ooh, that thing you did in the bed, woo, that was good. I appreciate your service. Oh, ring? No, you're not getting that. But thank you for stopping by. I mean, I appreciate it. We got to do this again sometime. So, they believe that their importance is greater than what you see it as. Now, I ain't gonna be celibate. I ain't saying I'm gonna be stupid. I'm saying I can get women and get sex anytime you want. It's the relationship part. Because that people start thinking their worth, which segues into this Joe Budden situation. Rory and Mal see their worth a lot different than Joe sees it. And when they came back on the show, Joe still saw it the same way. They had made no progress. And I told you, I said, now that they back on the show, it's going to break up quicker and it would never be the same. I said that the day they came back, I said, this is what's going to happen. They came back to the show. They just doing the job now. But now they don't like each other. And now the thing is, it'll never be the same. It'll never be the same. The show will never be the same again. And the breakup is going to happen a lot quicker this time. It's just like a relationship. Y'all get back together. The breakup and the problems happen quicker because you already know why y'all broke up the first time. Now it happens more quicker after y'all say y'all was through and past all the BS. It happens much quicker the second time around. And then y'all break up quicker. And you're like, man, that was quick. But at the end of the day, Joe Budden is right and he's wrong at the same time. And you might be like, well, what do you mean by that? Joe Budden is right about one thing. The YouTube money is Joe's. That's Joe's money. But Joe gave you the opportunity to use the video to start your own YouTube channel. Start your own platform. Y'all can eat off y'all thing. Don't and do that. Joe paid the money to the advertisement for them to promote it and build the page and everything. Joe paid that. They didn't pay it. Joe did. Joe did all that. So now, since Joe did all that, they mad at Joe. Joe told them to go do it. They could have been using the footage of the Joe Budden podcast show on their channel. Joe gave them permission saying you guys can do it. Build your own YouTube channel. They haven't done it. You know why? Because they're lazy. So I know what Joe is talking about in that sense because I've seen that. I've seen that behavior happen. People wanted to post stuff on my channel, and I'm like, make your channel. Get your thing going. No, you're not posting on mine because I already know the problems that's going to happen. It would have been this problem. We would have had this problem because my work ethic is me. 100% me. I don't have anybody in between doing anything. I do it all. I'm hands-on. So, if you give your all to something and somebody else comes in and don't have that same passion, how would that make you feel? You doing all the work and they sitting back just eating and getting a check. But acting like without them, you wouldn't be nothing. But here's where Joe was wrong. Joe, you wasn't when you was doing the Joe Budden podcast, you wasn't breaking the bank. You wasn't making it go. It was dull. It wasn't going nowhere. Without Rory and Maul, the Joe Budden podcast would not have rose to the levels it did. So while you're taking credit for, I really didn't need these guys. I would have, if I'd have cut these guys off, you paid them because you knew how hard it is to find a dynamic that works. You, Rory, and Maul have an energy that works. You and Academics had an energy that works. Without Joe, there was no show. They brought in Wayno, and Wayno, God bless his soul, he's a good dude, but he wasn't ready. And because he wasn't ready, this was the narrative all along. He wasn't prepared. So for you to try to say like you could have done the show, Joe, without them, like you really should have cut them off. If you was all about the money, you should have just cut them off a long time ago. Then your show wouldn't have been the same. And you knew that. So that's why you paid them. See, people don't realize what they say sometimes, and they end up sounding real stupid. There is a reason, a major reason, why you were paying them. Because they provided a service that worked. So don't minimize what they did, Joe, to boost your argument, to make you look better like I'm Joe Budden. Like, I made a podcast and people came over because of me. Joe, you had the podcast and you were doing shows. It was really going nowhere until Rory and Maul got there. To be honest. Yes, you had namesake. You were doing them Love and Hip Hops, bouncing around, keeping your name relevant. But that don't mean you're going to have a successful podcast. There have been a lot of people who've been successful. Amy Schumer. Remember Amy Schumer, the top comedian in the world? Amy Schumer came to Spotify and got a podcast deal immediately. And that fizzled out. She had a name. Her name was bigger than Joe Budden's. But she had never done podcasts before a day in her life. And it did not work out. Hit the like button, people. We should be way up in the likes right about now. Because you're getting some real spill right now. Real spill. Because everybody missed the keynotes that was in that conversation that Joe had. Joe was really revealing a lot about the business that people really didn't know. Because it's such a John Doe thing with podcasting that people really didn't know how to gauge it, because it's all about fluctuations. The numbers go up, they go down. So the people that know how to do it is like Spotify and all these people. They know how to get their end out of it. Spotify has to have your IP address. They hire you out. There is no partnership. They're renting your IP address. They make the decisions. And then you can say what's, ads and all that stuff you want on there. But in order for you to hit certain like bonuses and things like that, benchmarks, you gotta like crush it. And some of the early benchmarks, they hit, crushing it. Ding, 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 ding. But you cannot consistently do that in podcasts. What you did 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, is not gonna be the same numbers you did prior to that. His rant on Eminem, which he been wanting to get off his chest for a long time, was probably the biggest show he did. And because of that, the show was really going to a new place. Him going off on Everyday Struggle or Drake or whatever it might be, his standpoint was always up there. But you need somebody with balance, somebody who brings something to the table. See, Rory and Maul were a different type of energy to the show. Maul is best known as the, okay, I'll go, thank you. He was best known as the pessimistic person. He was just negative. That is no Maul. He just don't like anything. That's the opinion. And he don't back down. If Joe says something, he ain't gonna back down because Joe Budden is there and he's getting loud. Rory stands his ground. Maul stands his ground. Rory is a sensibility guy. He's more the super sensitive type that is more sensitive to the business practices of it, and it's gonna give you the details about it. Joe just spits just off his brain whatever he feels. This is how Joe feels, and the context is gonna come from Rory. Rory be like, well, they did own the company, they own 35%, and what really happened was, this is what happened with them. No, they didn't, Rory. They left the business because it was dying, Rory. Can't you read between the lines? I'm like, he's like, I'm just giving you the context. So Rory's job was to give you context when Joe is just going off rambling and all this stuff. So it works. The show works. Now, if people want to get something for their worth, then by all means. I feel they should. But money here wasn't the thing. The thing is, they felt like they should get more pieces. Like, we should get more pieces to the puzzle, or there's more things we need to get. And they just felt like we're not getting it. And that's just too bad. Because it was there for you. It was so there. Now, we're back. Had to go get my mail from the old place because for some reason they refused to do that. The Rory and Mal show, I mean, they gotta have a third. They gotta have a third with some energy, with something that works. But the thing is, do they have the work ethic? Oh, damn. Damn, somebody got messed up, dog. Damn. Ah, damn. Man, that's sad. See why I moved? See why I moved? Damn. Bye, old place. My old place in the woods. This is a beautiful place. We had a lot of fun, made a lot of money. No, because academics needs him. Academics need Joe Budden's bad. Ack is back on YouTube 100 times, swinging hard, ain't he? Trying to keep his relevancy in all of this. But them bills are coming. Them bills are coming. He played a large part in this. Joe said they did not come up to renegotiate or even ask for more money. Rory asked you for part ownership and you said no. So when Rory's calling for an audit, how can you call for an audit when you were paid and had paperwork saying that you agreed to your contract that everything is everything? What the company makes is none of your business. That's the truth. You're an employee. I can't have the company audited. That I work. I'm gonna have an audit going in here because making sure you're getting what you're contractually supposed to get. You're not a partner. So how do you get it to audit someone? Tell me you want to see the books. You see the books, and this is what I did. When I was working, I was an independent contractor. So that means I'm a partner. This is my business. So I have to see the books. I was working with a firm where I was my own boss. Everything was paid through me. I paid for everything. All I used them for was for distribution. So when I asked the distribution to see the books, because they got to cut the check. And when the money ain't right, I'm like, whoa, this money ain't right. Because you got to pay my company, which pays me. I pay myself. So they don't cut me a check, they cut my company a check. So I have a right to see the books. Now, I didn't call for an audit because they knew I'm entitled to see the numbers, to see how I'm getting paid. Now, as an employee, you're entitled to see how you're getting paid individually, but not how the whole company gets their money and who's getting paid what. You have no right to that. You have no right to that. So Rory and Maul are definitely out of their mind if they're thinking they have a right to see how the whole company, who gets paid this, that get paid. No, you don't have to. No, that's not your business. Well, he's got the wrong people in his ears, and they always listen to the people that got no money. There's always those people who got less money than you trying to tell you what you should do with people who got way more money. The stupid people is the one that listen to them. In my situation, I asked to see the numbers. Once I saw the numbers, it proved we were not getting what we were supposed to be getting paid. So they was like, yeah, hey, we gonna straighten that out. Just come in the office. And I said, no, because I don't need you. I could get anybody else for distribution, but I didn't even need to do this work anymore. I was making triple that without even having to go nowhere. See, my thing is, by me being, I was the only one employed in my company, which means I would have to drive out, spend gas money, time to do all that. I was profiting good off that. But it's just the time and me being on the road and going back and forth. I'm like, man, I don't really have to do all this. But I was doing the job in like less than an hour, 2 hours tops. I have my quota for the day. I have everything I need by the day. But I'm a workaholic. I'm going to stay 6-7 hours. I'm going to stay 8 hours. I might even do 10 to go way above my quota. I want more money. It all comes to me. So when I see my numbers ain't right and I'm not getting paid right, they were making a 50% error. 50%. Do you not know people have got choked out for less? 50%. Hit the like button, good people, because this is real spill you getting here. 50% revenue lost. Thank you, man. Appreciate that, man. Y'all want to support my page? My Cash App is Carceno, K-A-R-C-E-N-O. And if you're a Patreon member, you already know what it is. Lyft? Man, I ain't never Lyft nobody. I ain't driving nobody no damn well. Only Lyft they gonna get is from my foot when I kick them in the air. Don't have nobody in my car and, yeah, drive me here, take that way. Nah, messing up my car. Shoot, you crazy? I ain't doing that. Lyft. I was making more money than Lyft drivers. Then I had DirecTV. People thought I worked for DirecTV. No, buddy, I had my own company. And I bought the parts from DirecTV. I got licensed to distribute DirecTV. So I could sell anybody DirecTV and have somebody come and install it and give you discounts. I was giving them people $200. I was up in Best Buy. I had a position in Best Buy because I was making Best Buy money. Right. I wasn't an employee. I wasn't employed by DirecTV, so DirecTV could never fire me for anything. They could just cut ties with my license and say, oh, well, you can't be our distributor. People don't know that they can actually do that. If you pay for the supplies and you pay for all the everything else, all you got to do is get 3-4 sales of DirecTV a week and you good. You can cut your own deal. When you see those guys in like Walmart and Target, that's because they got a license to be there. So I use them for distribution so I can get licensed so I can be inside Best Buy. I could be inside. I was inside Best Buy. I was inside of, hey, what's up, guys? I was inside of Best Buy. I was inside of Walmart. Those were the two biggest chains. And with 4 a week, you're making over $1,000 easy. Then I had the free government phones that I was giving you guys with the same company, distribution. I had it all. So now, with that, I was getting paid you get about $20 a phone. Anytime somebody sign up to get a free government phone, I'm getting $20 off that phone. Well, it gets divided. So I get like $7 and something else after everybody get their cut. So I'm getting $7 off a phone. I was giving out, because all you got to do is have your information. Most of them had it. I had the tablet and everything. So you got your info, boom, 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 boom. There's your phone. They send it right to your house. So I didn't have to have the phones on me, so somebody didn't have to rob me. They mail the phones to your house. I would have 20 people signed up, maybe 30, sometimes 40 people signed up a day for the free government phones. So, and I'm getting $7 a phone. That was easy money. Then my pay went up to $12 a phone. So that was just so easy to get. Because after you sell a certain number, you cut out everybody else. And then the percentage goes, you get 100% at a certain point. The percentages goes up. So that's why we had to go in there and check the books and get the numbers right, because they didn't have my numbers right, and it was 50% lower than I was supposed to get. So they wanted to make it up to me and cut me a check and all that. And I'm like, we about to bounce from y'all, man. Y'all ain't got y'all thing together yet. But when y'all get right, come see me. But until then, I'm making more money right now doing everything else. I can make the truth behind video and basically eclipse all that, and I ain't had to leave my house. So I transitioned the business, sold off everything to everybody else, said, look, y'all could take it, y'all could run with it, but I'm out. All the distributors, I gave them back their property. I'm like, here you go. Here's your tablet, all the stuff. I'm not working for it. I'm not going to do this no more for y'all. But number one when I left. Number one. Work ethic. And that's something that Joe Budden possesses that Rory and Maul don't. Work ethic. Rory and Maul are lazy. They like, well, whatever happens, happens. They don't have the grind like Joe has. Joe is 10 toes down in this. This is his livelihood. This is everything he put himself into. And I know what that's like. So I relate to that. But when you tell them that they're not worth it, or that I'm Joe Budden before I was Joe Budden and I was doing love and hip hop and I was doing this and that. Yeah, Joe, that's true. You were doing those things. You were absolutely right about that, Joe. You were doing those things. But you also want to know what's also right? They were doing well without you, Joe. And you, I mean, sorry about that. I said that wrong. You weren't doing well, Joe. Because when you first started the podcast, it took the podcast a long time before it blew. And it just didn't blow off the strength of Joe. Rory and Maul were there when that show blew. So whether you didn't ask him to do it or whatever, he did it. And they brought a value to the show that you've acknowledged that they did bring a value to the show. That's why you paid them. So overall, there's a miscommunication that should have been solved a long time ago before moving forward. Everybody just went to work. Now, Rory wanted part ownership, which he was told no. They felt they should get paid on the YouTube, Joe Budden's YouTube TV. I thought they were getting paid, but they weren't. Joe wasn't paying them. And he said no, because I've been paying for this on the YouTube and everything, not you guys. This is the Joe Budden. You can go start your own YouTube page. And I've went through that before, so I know exactly what Joe's talking about. Because Joe's like, look, I built this up. Now, if y'all want to use some of the footage and go ahead, you got all access. Use some of the footage. But it says Joe Budden on there. But I'm not finna cut you a check off the YouTube videos. That's like me cutting a check to my StreamYard for them showing up in the StreamYard. You showing up because you want to talk and you have a platform to do it on. And if you wanted to start your own thing based off that and build you an audience, then by all means. But I don't owe you a check for it. Because I can do a StreamYard without anybody on it and still do the same numbers. So it doesn't make a difference. It's not doing anything for me. If I do that, I'm doing it because it's fun to talk to everybody, and chill out and have a good time. I'm not doing it because I need this to break the bank. So for Joe thing, I understand what Joe was talking about with the YouTube thing. Rory and Mal could have started their own YouTube page, used the footage, and they chose not to. And still haven't done it. To this day, Rory and Mal still has not created a YouTube page. If Joe would have told that to me, and he'd have said, I would have never asked him for something as stupid as that. I'd already had my YouTube page. But let's say I did, and he said, well, you can use the footage. I'd be like, great, bet. It's on. So I would have only enhanced it. I'd have had mine popping and would have been putting stuff there. And people say, well, you got all the followers already, so we should just put stuff up on your platform. And then, we'll both eat. No. Put it on yours. Get your own platform. Because I already know how this going to go. No, man, we going to put it on your thing because you already got the followers, and then you'll get a percentage, man. And then I'm no. I vote it, but it's going to have to be on your page. You going to have to do the legwork. I'm not finna do the legwork for you. You're not finna take what I done spent a decade building just to come along and ride the wave. See, I've been down this road. I just already saw the end scenario. It would have been arguments, fights, and friends not being friends no more. Like, he brought up a very interesting point. He said he met Rory in 2014. Joe did. Met him in 2014. Only after meeting him in 2014, he started the podcast in 2015. And then about like, I don't know, he said about 16, 17 episodes, then Rory just came in. But my thing is this, Joe. When you're 16, 17 episodes before Rory and them got there, if you were doing the crazy numbers you were before they got there, and they really didn't add any value, then yeah, I could see that. But it is your platform and you don't have to give up ownership to it whatsoever. But I can understand them saying that they want to be partners. Because of course they're going to want to know they have some financial security. But I understand what Joe is saying is like, look, I've been building this and working and grinding 10 toes down. I barely know you. Y'all barely know each other. And you know how the saying goes, somebody can block their blessings. Sometimes people are in a good position and don't realize how privileged they are to be in this position. And they go and do something stupid and block their blessing. Whether it's out of anger or whether it's out of anything, they don't see. They can't see down the road. And it costs them. Whether it's friendship, it costs them. Now on the Patreon, we have the video, the audio. You get to listen to what Joe said today because Joe deleted it, but we got it. It's up on the Patreon, rolling, and it's free on the Patreon. So you don't have to be a Patreon member. We put it for free for all you guys to see and enjoy and listen to Joe Budden talk about what happened. And how he felt. But a lot of you guys wanted to hear my thoughts on it. But you have to realize something. When they was at Spotify, Joe said something very, very true that I already knew. That was a bad deal that they took at Spotify. It's a bad deal. It seemed like a good deal on the surface, but when you don't know the business, it was a bad deal. Because they didn't own their IP address anymore. Spotify has to own it in order for the deal to take place. That's one. Two, the deal that they constructed was not going to be profitable for them long term because the benchmarks were set that they will never reach. And the company will make sure you'll never reach those benchmarks, even if you're close. So if your own company is going to sabotage you because they're going to put another podcast at the same time as your podcast going on Spotify to try to take away numbers from your podcast, then they're working against you, which is really working for their benefit. Hit the like button. But they didn't know this going into it. See, Joe was somebody that's learning on the job because there really was nobody there to really teach him or show him how this thing was going to lay out because it's kind of a John Doe business. So they gave Joe control of what he didn't have when he was at Complex about what ads can be shown or being allowed on there and them getting paid on the ads and the advertisement that wanted to advertise on their show. Oh, the Birth of Christianity is definitely coming on the Patreon this month. Just be patient. It will pop up and be there on the VIP. Now, the world changed their views. Wasn't me, the world did. So when the world changed their views, what was you gonna think? The world changed their views on Joe and this show and everything else. So when they blew up to a certain level and got as big as they did, the numbers are not going to stay there. Some numbers are going to go lower. There's going to be nothing really going on that week. They're going to have nothing to really talk about, but the numbers are not going to break the bank all the time. They hit home runs out the gate, which got them way over a benchmark that was set. So when they were paid what they were paid, Rory and Mal, they didn't know. Like, they were like, man, we probably generated way more money, but they wanted a concrete number on what the numbers would be before they even agreed when everything fluctuates. So instead of getting a flat rate, what they should have did was a percentage deal. Saying, okay, here's my flat fee, then let's do this number for everything that goes above a benchmark that we do. Here's some points that I'm gonna need, we go to. But they didn't have anything set up business-wise. These are guys who didn't know what they were doing. They just going off what their friends have told them, and they're trying to apply it to this business, and they don't know exactly what they're getting into. Now, they agreed that the contracts that they had, they signed a piece of paper saying that they are okay and they understand everything that's in the contract, according to Joe. Now, because they did this, if they come back to the table for renegotiations, at this point, it's null and void, because it's never going to be the same. I said that when they came back a week ago. I'm like, listening to it, you could tell nothing was resolved. If nothing was resolved, why in the world are you going back to work? You can't pick up and go back to work and have this working format and people are still harboring, like, I want to kill you things in their head. In order for me to do a podcast with somebody, it would have to be someone who has their feet grounded like I do. It's hard. I don't want to, because I have no time really to vest in any of this. And because I don't have time to really vest into what's going on, it's a lot of issues taking place that I'm not really concerned or interested in, and I wouldn't want to be a part of it. Don't forget to hit the like button, people. We should have way more likes than this. You guys are slacking. Like button is free. You want to support the page, hit my Cash App up. It's Carceno, Karceno. Joe Budden is doing so many things at one time. He has his foot in a whole lot of different venues. Rory and Mal should have used these opportunities to start venturing to do other things. But when you're so consistent with one thing on your mind, I'm gonna just do this and be cool with it. I'm never gonna put all my eggs in one basket. I said that once. I definitely mean it. I need my eggs in more baskets. It might be more work for me. Maybe it opened up the door where I have to hire somebody. That's cool. But my thing is, as I'm doing these things and moving forward, this is a process that I'm doing the long way. Because I'm doing it the long way, I'm cutting out John, James, Tracy, and I'm cutting out all these emotions from all these people that's going to come in and interfere with what's going on in the process, the whole run. So when you do that, you're already knowing that you're setting yourself up for something else to come and take its place. Oh yeah, it's straight like that. So just to let people know, Joe Budden isn't as crazy as he sounds. He actually is learning on experience. Plus, he's got skin in the game. So when you got skin in the game, you don't want anyone to try to tell you how your business should be when your skin is all the way into this game. Maul has other things he was doing. So Maul doesn't seem like he's even interested half of the time. Maul's looking like I make money doing other stuff. I'm good. Like I don't really have to do the show. But what Maul is he's gonna ride more with Rory. Like we should have some ownership in this. But your name is under the marquee. They had to have an argument about putting their name under the marquee. Now that's somebody being too greedy, because Joe should have known to at least put Rory and Maul's name even at the bottom. You know, they got to have something. You know, they did contribute something. But Joe don't want to relinquish anything. He doesn't feel like he owes or he's entitled to do something. Joe feel like if I'm doing something, I'm being grateful. So that's just the way he moves. Me, I'm a little bit more compassionate to do that. I would have known that, hey, they're going to want this here. They're going to want that. This should probably go this way. You know? So when I do these things, I do it genuinely from the heart. And I will always be fair to people because that's just how I am. But some people are not built that way. They're not looking at fair. They're looking at how much they can get. They want to know, how much can I stick this guy for and keep sticking him for, and he keep paying, because that's what's lucrative for them. The more they can get, I could just take a little bit more and a little bit more and then a little bit more and then a little bit more. And that's what happened. In this instance, Rory wants more. He claimed it's about respect. It ain't about the money, it's about respect. But it's about the money. When you asking for part ownership, you asking for YouTube money, you asking, it's about money. It's about money. You want money. You want more. You want security. That's what you want. And as long as you want security, this is always going to be the scenario. This is always going to be the outcome. Security. Oh, I see it a lot. I see it all the time. People can talk crazy all they want, but I see it all the time. Absolutely. Yeah, but you got to understand, they bring a dynamic to the show. Rory is the sensitive guy, but he's the one that provides context. Joe is just all over the place, loud. He's the energy, he's the talent. So he's the energy force that the show is balanced around. Now you got to have two other persons in there. Maul is the pessimistic. He's always the negative energy. Maul don't like any damn thing. That's just him. He's just the negative energy pessimistic person. That's Maul. The person who brings you context from a sensibility point and tries to bring the understanding to the actual person who's trying to make sense of it all is Rory. He brings that. He has the tone. He has everything right. While Joe is the over the top, overbearing. You never know quite where he stands. He's all over the place. And together, they make a perfect balance. Now, the problem is certain people can't see that when they watch the show. They just see the show. But me, and they don't see like Rory and Maul meaning anything to the show. But if you watch the show without them, you see the difference. Some people are like, man, I like the other dudes better. I'm like, all right, well, go ahead. We'll see how that works.
Jacob to the front end, please. Jacob to the front end.
Uh-oh. That's it for Jacob. So. Wow, they knocked everybody off my line. You see that? See how crazy they were? They knocked everybody off the line. They was like, Cino in this line. Straight up. Yeah, well, when you can't do what you want to do, you know, this is where you're at. Yeah, they knocked all of us off. I don't even know how that happened. But nevertheless, this is the outcome. Well, you gotta have so many different things transpire for a company to work. And when you come in with the attitude of you're going to do something different than what's on the table, it's okay. But Rory and Maul, they are lazy. Joe Budden said, I will give you guys the permission to go out and use my the video footage for your own YouTube channel. I'm not going to pay you my YouTube channel. It's mine. But what you could do, go ahead and you do it. That's all he said. You do it. Go do your thing. I'm going to be over here. But y'all go do it. Do y'all thing. On y'all own YouTube page. But you can use our footage. And you still don't want to use it? Huh? You still got a problem? Huh? You still don't have a YouTube page up? Rory and Maul right now should have a YouTube page up right now today. And they don't. Why? Why is that, ladies and gentlemen? Why? Because they're lazy. Rory and Maul feel like they don't need it. They just want to eat off Joe's energy and sweat and what they do on the show. And they feel Well, I feel like my worth is a lot worth more than what it is. Nope. You are an employee. Should you have some part of a percentage? Probably. You could renegotiate that in your contract. Maybe Joe say no. You guys can leave and go and start your own thing. And hey, that's part of business. But you put yourself in that. You got to remember the thing said Joe Budden. When the first day you walked on there, it was the Joe Budden podcast. So you knew it was the Joe Budden podcast when you got there. So if you know it's the Joe Budden podcast when you get there, you can't make it the Joe show. Now, if Joe decided that's what he wanted to do, then cool. But that's not what he decided he wanted to do. So don't be grumpy and moan. Start your own. If it makes you that uncomfortable, start your own. You should have enough contacts in this business by now, Rory, to where you could start your own. Like I said, I don't like academics one bit. But the dynamic of him and Joe, it worked. Because he was able to sun him and Act was just there to take it. That was his job. His job was to take it. At this point, I'm asking you guys now. You guys get to interact in this because I want to know what you guys think. Okay? You're Rory and Mom. Okay? You're Rory and Mom. And you're Joe in this situation. Can you guys work together after this? Hey. Yeah, I want to grab a cart. Can you hold this one? Could you go forward with somebody with this kind of tension, saying we just gonna go back to work? I told you this was gonna happen earlier. Thank you, Miss Melissa. Oh my gosh. I know, right? That's what they do. Hit the like button. Because these people are dirty. Playing a dirty game. No, because at the end of the day, what people don't know is that there are a lot of different people in the world that see that a different way. I mean, Miss Melissa's nice, but when does I get everything I gotta get up out of here? oh yeah. Yeah, like he said, he met Rory in 2014. And they started the podcast in 2015. So my thing is this. To give somebody part ownership is up to the decision of the person who runs the show, which is Joe. Joe runs the show. It is his show. Rory knew that when he came on board and just started working on the podcast. Like he said, Rory still had another job paying the bills, but he chose to be a part of this. Now that it's built into something, he has been paid for his work. So that's not it. He just wants what? More. And what does he want more of? He wants more security. Now, the axe part of ownership of Joe's YouTube was ludicrous. That was never going to happen. But they had an opportunity to start their own YouTube channel. They did not take that. That I would never understand why they wouldn't. To me, that'll always be baffling. It's a lot of baffling things that took place. I can only account that or attribute that to laziness on their part. They might feel different, but when I see someone that don't want to do that, I think laziness right off the bat. They met in 2014. In 2015, he got on the show. Now, let's incorporate what getting on the show means. Getting on the show means, what getting on the show means is that they came in there when it was like 15, 16 episodes down. Then they got on the show. Then Rory showed up. But the show wasn't anything when Rory got there. So it wasn't like Joe blew the show up and it was jumping off the charts. And then here comes Rory riding that wave. Rory did help build the show in its infancy. But, once again, when you got there and you came there to work on the show, it was no money, it was no nothing. It was a John Doe business. Y'all trying to build something. So there's no money really involved in the show yet. But it is called the Joe Budden Podcast. So you knew this going into it, that this is the Joe Budden Podcast. So he does not have to give you anything. He don't. This is not about friendship. This is about business. This is about X and O's. Friendship ain't got nothing to do with it. This is about the business. Everything we're talking about is business. Friendship, what friendship got to do with it? He can be my twin brother. We talking about X's and O's. Commas and dots and ownerships and percentages. What are you talking about? That's the question. What are you talking about? He didn't latch on to him for clout. When they met, it was a genuine friendship. Joe didn't really have no clout. Joe was starting another reality TV show, which nobody really cared or paid any attention to Joe at that time anyway. They just looked at him as a drug addict and making himself look ridiculous on reality shows. No one cared about what he was doing. So yeah, he was just the guy who made the song Pump It Up. That was it. He was the Pump It Up guy. Pump it up. Yeah, I never really had those problems, you know, so. You know, a lot of people have problems like that, but I don't. I just see it from a business perspective because this is what this is about. Rory felt like I needed respect. And he felt like Joe was being very disrespectful in the tone he was explaining it to him. And it probably was a disrespectful tone the way Joe would say it because it sounds disrespectful the way he says it. And Joe doesn't know sometimes the way he delivers things to a super sensitive person like Rory to make Rory feel like he's unappreciated. Joe doesn't really mean it, but he can also don't give a damn either. So yeah, but it all goes back to what I was telling you. Laziness. When you're lazy, these type of things come around. And when you're lazy and you're not paying attention, these are the type of things that come around and bite you. I never wanted to be that type. Somebody who's being alright, I don't want to be that kind of person. I'm just distributing orders to everybody. Yeah, when you run into these things, you'll start to understand it a little bit better. Thanks, Gary. I appreciate that. Well, all of it is learning lessons, you know? So for me, I've always wanted to be I always wanted to be the one that, you know, that gets everything done and reach a certain plateau. You know, I've always wanted to be that person. So, but I'm hands-on, so there's nobody but me that's handling that. So if I'm the only one that's handling it, to me, I'm the only one that really cares. I'm passionate about it. Other people whose names are not on the line, they're not going to be as passionate about it as I am. Because they don't have anything at stake. Rory and Maul's name is in that stake. They don't have a name. Their name was basically built off the show. It was the Joe Budden podcast.
Oops, excuse me, sir.
Oh, it's okay.
Excuse me, sir. I'm very
Oh,
sorry.
you coming back? Hey, look at you. You busy. Yeah, but you know, you got less headaches. It's more work, but it's less headaches. You know, your headaches are at a minimum because you know you don't have to deal with other people's BS. Remember when I was doing the Real Brothers? Same thing. You know? You running, people already seeing numbers. I'm like, how you talking numbers and money and ain't no money in it yet? We don't even know what this is yet. We just starting something. We just started talking about sports. You know, and what was going on. We haven't really started anything or made it anything yet. So, you already talking about I ain't getting paid and all this, but I knew what that was. That's somebody else talking. We ain't gonna get into all that, but
Oh, no.
well, when other people decide, when you when you jump on someone else's channel and it says their name on it, guess what? It's theirs. if you help it grow or whatever, they don't have to give you part ownership. They don't. They're not entitled to. Guess what else they don't have to do? They don't have to let you come back if they feel like they can move on and do well without you. They own it. It isn't like he changed the name once they got on the platform. It was the Joe Budden podcast when he got there. It was the Joe Budden podcast that they still at. Like I told y'all, if Joe told me you can't have a piece of my YouTube, I'd have never asked him for that anyway, but alright. I would have never asked him for that, but if, let's say, that was the case, and he said, no, but you could use the footage and start your own channel, boom, I'm out the door. I'm gone. I'm already at work. You know, that's, to me, that's just a sign of laziness. That's why they don't have anything now. All these years, and Rory Mall has no channel whatsoever. You've been with Joe all these years and have no channel. I got like 3 channels. And don't even need them. No, I'm good.
Have a great day.
All right, thank you. Okay, good. We got everything. Now, well, of course, you want to always make sure you're on point at all times. Exactly. I'm not saying, and the thing is, Rory and Maul are paid handsomely, but they have no control over anything. Bye. Now, I'm just making mad noise. Okay. Sorry about that. But there are so many people that just got here. As many people as here. I hope you guys have hit the like button. You guys have all subscribed to the page. Well, you gotta realize something, man. This was something you never knew what it was going to be. This is such a John Doe business as far as podcasting. People don't understand or even know where is it going? How's it structured? What is the pay gonna look like? None of these things. So if you don't know what the pay structure is, you don't know what all this stuff is gonna look like in the end, it's kind of hard to come through the door making demands. So when they were doing this for the love of doing it and building something, and this could be a springboard into something else that could be lucrative. That's how they went into it. Now, you might ask yourself, then what happened? What did it become? It became something that was bigger than they could control. Joe Budden is not a businessman. He's learning how to run a business on the fly. And in the process, you guys have all attached your ship to him. Now, all of you guys who have attached your ship to Joe, there's a lot of people in there getting paid, and a lot of people getting paid a lot of money. So, for other people to be commenting about it, they don't need to. Like, Joe should know that this problem wasn't resolved. So if the problem is not resolved, why is people going on the show? Like, I never understood that. The problem isn't resolved. Why are we on a show? Why are we running a show when we still got the same problems in play? And the same problem is the only problem that's on the table. Respect and disrespect. Ownership, non-ownership. Joe feels like he doesn't owe them anything. I'm a person who feels the same way. Philly owes them anything. He's paying them. They sign contracts. It is what it is. Now, the problem that I'm seeing that's emerged, that's always been emerging, is based on a fact of what am I paying you for? What is the service you guys are providing that is not getting done? Like, why would I be giving you ownership of Joe Budden podcast? For what? What would be the reason? Why would I need to do that? In any sensibility of the word, why? That is a major question. Because it has really no answer. Joe would be the biggest fool in the world to give up part ownership to his brand. Be like, no, you're not getting that. You get a percentage deal, you can get a bump, but this is the Joe Budden podcast. When you got here, you don't get part ownership. This isn't a Fortune 5 company where I make you partner. You have done nothing to really get to be made partner in the Fortune 500 company. Now, if you bring in some business, that's like Rory and Maul bring in a lot of business that's going through the roof, that's going to take us to the level where we could sit down at the table and discuss, yeah, we might need to be partners. But if you haven't done that, I don't know where we're going to be when that happens. You feel me? There was no fine print. It wasn't like they got screwed. Like Joe said, in the Spotify deal, he could have screwed them over 6 ways to Sunday. If that's what he wanted to do, if he was all about the money, he could have screwed them up in the contracts. These dudes signed the contracts right away. And they're making money. Let's keep forgetting. Everybody thinking like they're not making money, like they're getting robbed. This is not the case. It's what people feel like they want more, or they should be getting more. They're worried about how much somebody else is getting, and they feel like, well, we bring a value to this, we should be getting more. Not once, as Joe said, they came up talking about renegotiating. Not once. So hit the like button, people. We should have been way over 300 by now, but it's not that. They're lazy. When people don't have the same work ethic, this is the scenario. This is the fallout from that scenario. That's all. So I'm on Joe's side more than anything. Both sides have their issues, but mainly I'm on Joe's side with this one. So I'm out. Hopefully we have cleared all this up.